Hi, this is Mr. Moore. Welcome back. And in this video, I want to give you an overview of your next assignment. So let's do that now. Assignment 3, Overregulation Effects on Small Businesses. So in this assignment, what we want to do is look at what happens to businesses when the government has too many rules. And we talked about this a little bit in our last assignment. Introduction. Chapter 15 discusses how the federal government regulates monopolies. All right, monopoly is when a business is only one business doing the thing in that economy for the market. So a good example would be a power company. All right, and the government comes in and regulates those. They have rules for those companies because they could add to their prices very easily because they have so much power in the market because they don't have any competition. Regulations are government rules that businesses must follow to operate. If the government's rules are not followed, businesses can be fined or shut down, and in extreme cases, owners can even go to jail. But monopolies are not the only type of business the government regulates. The government has regulations for every type of business. While many of these regulations are good and needed, and I really want to stress that, we need government and we need regulation for business. An increasing number of regulations American businesses must deal with have made doing business much more expensive and have caused some people to get out of business altogether. This hurts each of us as citizens and it hurts our economy overall. So in this assignment, I want you to go to a report produced by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. You can read about the U.S. Chamber of Commerce right here. U.S. Chamber of Commerce is essentially an organization that really just fights for small businesses. And they have a report that they did on regulation and small businesses at this link here. And we're going to go and look at that here in just a minute. Your job is to read this report in depth. It's not that long. And answer the following questions about it. All right. So let's go look at our questions. Again, the ChatGPT AI warning. Do not use ChatGPT or AI in any of my courses or any of my assignments. I look for it. I check for it. And I'll nail you if you do it. So don't do it. This is your course, your degree, and you want to learn. You don't want to learn from AI. We don't want to know what AI says. We want to know what you know. All right, number 1. Regarding the 3 bullet points under the growing concern heading of the report, the headings are shown vertically in the far left column of the report. 1A, summarize the regulation statistics in each of the 3 bullets. So let's go look at it here. We'll go up to the top of this. This is the report here, U.S. Chamber of Commerce. That is the website. And you've got all of these different subheadings here. We can scroll down and see them, or we can click on them. Now what I say in the directions is find the growing concern heading. All right. Here we see growing concern. We click on this. It takes us down. And notice vertically we have these words growing concern. All right, I want you to read this. And I want you to read all of this and then get down to these 3 bullet points. All right, summarize the regulation statistics in each of these 3 bullets. So I just want you to go here and I want you to take these into your mind and I want you to, in your own words, not copying exactly word for word, describe what these 3 bullets, give the details of these 3 bullets. Tell me the effect of these regulations. Give me an overview of them. And then in part B, keeping in mind that some regulations are necessary. Does this amount of regulation strike you as helpful or harmful overall to small businesses? Explain why, give detail. So I want you to think about this. If you're a business owner and as you look at all these statistics and things that the government is piling on to small businesses, do you think this is helpful overall or harmful? Not to say that none of these regulations are any good or that they're all absolutely harmful, but just overall. What do you think? Too much, too little, and why? All right, under the heading Red Tape Maze. All right, so let's go on down here. Oh, look, next, Red Tape Maze right there. Summarize the 3 examples of red tape given in this section. So here we've got examples right here. Not a whole lot of detail, but I want you to put that in your own words and summarize it. Part B. Identify who in the end actually pays for these costs. Is it the business that must deal with them that pays them in the end, or is it the customers in each of these cases? In other words, will the business just eat all of these costs without passing them on? Or are they likely to pass them on to their customers with higher prices? This answer isn't given in the report. I want you to think about this. So just look at those examples and ask yourself, if I was a small business owner, would I pay all of these costs on my own and take it out of my profit and out of what I make? Or would I be forced to pass them on to my customers? Number 3, under the heading burdened by cost. All right, so let's go find this. Here we have red tape maze. Let's just keep going down, see what we get. Burdened by cost, the very next one. All right, read all of this. How much money do small businesses pay on average per employee in regulatory costs? Find that answer in this information. Okay? B, divide this number by 2040, the number of hours a full-time worker works in a year at 40 hours per week, and document it here as an hourly dollar amount. So let's just say, for example, and I don't remember the number, but let's say that the average small business has to pay $10,000 per employee in regulatory costs. Take $10,000 and divide it by 2040, and that will tell you the hourly cost on top of what you're paying the employee that you're paying just to keep up with the government rules. Okay? This is the hourly rate per employee that regulations cost businesses, for example, $3.25 an hour, not the answer. Because that's not going to be the answer, but just whatever you get, give me a dollar and cent number for B. And then C, how much more could the employer afford to pay the employee per hour if the regulatory costs were cut in half? All right, so take the hourly number for B, we just came up with that, divide it by 2. And it's not a trick question. So in our case here, if you came up with 325, I think it's more than that, but we'll see. Divide 325 by 2, that's $1.63, roughly. Okay, that means that if you cut the regulation by half, the employee, you, could make $1.60 more an hour, which times 2,040 hours is probably about $3 or $4 grand. You see? So when the employer is paying the government for these regulation costs, paying to meet this regulation cost, that's money that the employer can't pay you. That's important to keep in mind. Number 4, under the heading States Piling On, in the Annual Workers' Compensation and Employment graphic, click on the drop-down menu. So let's go find this. States Piling On, Annual Workers' Compensation and Employment. All right. Let's go on down here. We're looking down here on the left. A lot of it. States Piling On. Now I'm supposed to look for the Annual Workers' Compensation and Employment graphic. Annual Working Compensation. That's not it. Annual Workers' Compensation and Employment Insurance. Okay? What am I supposed to do here? Choose South Carolina. All right. So right here, see this drop down? Let's go to South Carolina. Right there. All right, now report the amounts for total workers' compensation costs, unemployment insurance costs, and total insurance costs. So those are these 3 right here. And you can see it right here in the video. But you need to report those. All I want you to do is just say, total workers' compensation cost equals dollar amount. Unemployment cost equals dollar amount, okay? You don't have to write it in a paragraph. Now, number 5. Use the information you obtained from your answers to 1, 4 through above to explain why the following statement by the chamber is true. Okay, so just think about what you've answered in 1 through 4, all right? And think about this question here, this statement that the chamber makes. Unlike other business expenditures, and expenditure is just an expense, what we spend money on, such as research and development, regulatory spending is not an investment that generates growth for companies or the economy. All right, so businesses spend money on things that help them grow their business and benefit the economy, like maybe researching a new product, maybe hiring new engineers to design a new add-on to a car, okay? But regulation cost, the cost we pay to keep up with the government's rules, don't fall into that investment category. They're not an investment. that's going to produce something. They're just money that's eaten up by government. All right? Hint. Investment spending for companies is the money they spend to try to make their businesses better, get new customers, allow them to make things faster, or expand into new markets. Examples will be hiring new engineers, buying new equipment, improving computer systems, and purchasing training programs for their employees. All right. So explain to me why this statement, in quotes here, is true given what we've learned in these other 4 questions. And in that answer, I want you to refer to what you picked up in number 4, what you picked up in number 3, number 2, and number 1. Use that to justify that statement that the chamber made. Okay? Don't just give me your opinion. Go back up to those questions and use that information to substantiate and justify your answer. And then you have the typical requirements for doing a paper in my course. So look forward to your submissions. Hope that's helped. Reach out to me via email if you have any other questions. Thank you.